All right, and we are live. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust this just a hair. Not quite that much coming in. All right, and we are live. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down and do a live stream for you guys. Give us some of my protein shake. This is Mootopia with extra omega-3 in it, and optimal nutrition whey protein. All right, speaking of protein over sugar, let's look at kind of what we have going on here in the U.S. So what would happen? What would happen if all this results in the next 4 years with the political shift? If we got our children away from refined sugars, what would be the impact of that on our society as a whole? Like, think about what that would do for the health of the next generation. Like that one change alone. Right? What if we don't allow sugars in our schools? What if we tell companies they can't market sugar to children? They can't market sugary treats to them. Okay, what happens if we do that? I'm not saying something as extreme as, putting parents in jail or something over it. But what happens if we ban it in our schools nationwide? What happens if we ban companies specifically marketing refined sugar to kids? Okay, we make a push towards that. We make a push towards social unacceptability of it. Make a massive push. What would that do for the health of the next generation? I think it would be massive. Obviously, sugar is not refined sugars. I always say refined sugar is not sugar in general. I don't want to confuse the two. Is not the whole problem. But is it a sizable chunk of it? I think it's a fair statement to say it is. Absolutely fair statement to say it is. And we have to think about that. All right? We have to have that conversation. And I think that's something that's been pointed out here in the U.S. too. A lot of people have chimed in with this. If there's tons of stuff that we put in our foods in general that are outlawed in most other first world countries that we consider food, that is an area we're actually behind in. And have we suffered as a result of it? Okay. We've lost sight of what food even is in our society because of this. Right? All these things that people are like, but it tastes good. Well, because something tastes good doesn't mean it's food. Because you find it craveable doesn't mean that it's food. Keep in mind, your taste buds work on a 21-day cycle anyways. People forget that. They don't realize how sweet something like this tastes. Just a, protein shake in my Mootopia, which is saying it's Fairlife milk. Like when you're not used to sugary things, this tastes like soda in terms of sweetness. Right? I can't tell the difference there because I have sensitized taste buds, and that's kind of the point I'm making. Should your kids be drinking a protein shake and whole milk instead of a soda? Aren't we pushing that? How much leaner would they be if we did that? I mean, let's think about that. I mean, body fat's really the problem, isn't it? Okay, is that not the issue? Number one issue with all of it, really, obesity is a driver of all these things. Kids are obese. Or they're growing up to be addicted to junk food. They're growing up to be diabetics, growing up to have cardiovascular disease. The obesity rate's enormous there. What would happen if we actually push some physical education, get them off all the sugar, and have them consume more complete proteins? Make exercise fun again. Encourage that. How many problems will that solve? A lot. A whole lot. And that's the conversation we should be having, isn't it? If we're going to talk about welfare of children, we're going to talk about health of society as a whole. That's where you start. They have to be healthy again. The habits they're learning now from a generation that was taught bad habits is why we have these issues to begin with. The chain has to be broken. And that is what we need to have. Right? We need to get the sugar out of the schools, protein and vegetables up, sugar down, promote exercise, physical health, physical fitness again, all the way down at that level. Okay. I mean, people talk about they want to protect children. Well, there's a start. There's a start. Get them physically healthy, and then they'll also be mentally healthier. Because again, let's talk about mental health and poor physical fitness. Are they not repeatedly shown in the research to go hand in hand? In other words, if you are physically unfit and you're obese and have a bad diet, are you 10 times more likely to suffer from mental illness? Will it exacerbate the mental illness you may already be suffering from? That's not even in question. Okay, that's pretty well documented, isn't it? That's pretty well documented in the research. And all of this are social problems with obesity, being sedentary, bad dietary habits. Where does it start? It starts at a young age. People didn't just develop those habits all of a sudden when they were 20. Right? They didn't develop those habits when they were 20. They developed those habits when they were 5 years old, 6 years old. That's when the bad habits started. And those of us who know better, don't we have an obligation to say, hey, well, at the school level, that's what we need to be doing. Better quality food. Matt says, right, absolutely. Happy gut, happy brain, fit in shape, gaining muscle, smashing goals goes a long way to keeping you positive. Absolutely. I mean, how much do we know about gut health and neurotransmitters in the brain? Right? Again, is that even in question anymore? Or is that pretty well accepted at this point scientifically? Chris says it starts with the school, Jason. I agree. I got better food in the Navy boot camp than I did in public school. We feed kids slop. Yeah, because in boot camp, they needed you to be fit because you're now a piece of government property. And if you're not fit, if you're not healthy, you're not fit for service, are you? They had to do that. Why aren't we putting that same effort into our kids? Because if they're finishing school completely unfit, are they fit to be a productive member of society? I mean, no, really. I mean, think about it. We're willing to invest that into our soldiers because we know we don't have a choice. We as a society don't have a choice anymore. Look at what the consequences have been. You guys better do military prisoners in public school, right? In military, definitely. Why can't we do that in the public schools? And you're right, Matt. Altering children's ideas of how and what to eat, and even their view on fitness and exercise, will have a massively positive implication on the future of society, well, positive or negative. We are at a crossroads right now where we have an opportunity to make it positive. Okay, we're in a position to do that. I mean, and using like Chris right here as an example, if we can do that in the military, right? We can do that in the military. Why can't we do it in the public school? Granted, government has failings with inefficiency, but if we're able to pull it off there, can't the same system be structured into place for our schools? The argument people make, well, the kids will throw it away and they eat junk at home. Well, then we've got to work on that, don't we? That's where we need a whole cultural and social shift towards that. And I think this is, again, where we have an opportunity to do that. All right. Irrespective of what the media and stuff have said, did this man just win the popular vote? He won the popular vote, not just the Electoral College. How many of those people who won that vote, even people in that ideological camp, are unfit and push all this junk food? We need to get them on that direction. Say, hey, this is what you voted for. Let's push it. Push it at policy level, push it in the outreach, push it in the propaganda. I don't care if it's propaganda. People can argue about, oh, we don't need propaganda. Well, you know what? Some propaganda, some political propaganda to get people eating healthy again is probably the best damn thing we could possibly do. My God, we could use propaganda to do some real fucking good. I mean, how nice would that be? Wow, there's a thought. I mean, do we object to propaganda if it produces a legitimately beneficial outcome? All right. Ben says, agreed. Everyone who lifts and eats right wishes they started there. Every single last one of us. Every one of us do. Matt says, we need to stop the bad input from supposed experts. 2 people say eating carnivore. Yeah. We need to have people understand humans are cooked food omnivores. Okay. But that's proper nutritionists. Okay. Me and my COC had this discussion about kids having to do either a club or sports. Military colleges do it, RFK and Mrs. WD going to crack down. Hopefully, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that's the case. Liberty, but the food pyramid isn't even that bad. Okay, we don't follow the food pyramid. Hey, Rashid, we don't talk about all that, and I don't even know what that means. Personal info to the medical examiner. I don't understand what you're talking about. All right. If these kids want a snack, I got some Greek yogurt, chocolate or vanilla protein powder, some blueberry. There you go. There's your solution. Mandatory club or sports in high school. That might not be a bad idea, Chris. Might not be a bad idea. And that's again what we need to be talking about as a society. Right? This improves society. This is good for society as a whole. This is what we need. Okay? That's what we need. Is a 500 squat achievable, natural, and if you're healthier, does it require? There's a lot of nuance to that. Talking about the person with the star. Matt, I'm fully aware, but I don't understand what you were talking about, Rashad. And that's not a fitness-related topic. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get rid of some of this nonsense and get back over to real topics. All right. How do you get rid of some of that? Let's get back over to fitness related topics, these topics that we're talking about. Because here's the thing. I don't care. That guy's posting non-fitness stuff. This is a fitness stream. This is a fitness channel. That's what we talk about. All right. Josh says, hey, Blaha. Well, hello, Josh. It's something about the culture of society. Median weight for 5.9 males. Spain is 176, USA 200. Yeah, we eat our liberty. We eat garbage. It is that simple. Right. Yeah, Chris, I don't know what you mean by that. That doesn't even make sense because 20% fruit and vegetables versus 10% carb, so 50% carbs, right? Fruits and vegetables are carbohydrates. Largely, unless it's avocados or something. I don't promote raw milk actually, so no, I'm not a fan. All right. Get carbs through fruit and vegetables. I don't think we can even break down full percentages like that. I mean, at the moment, I'm doing much, much lower carb. And there's a whole lot of personal reasons with that too. Right. But I think at a certain point when it comes to body composition, as long as protein is high enough, there's a whole lot of flexibility on carbs and fat for the rest. And that flexibility gets higher the more protein you eat. Matt, no, because a keto diet is going to be low protein by default. Hence why I don't use the term keto even for what I do. A ketogenic diet is fat is the primary macronutrient. So these people need to quit throwing the word keto around when they're eating an ultra high protein diet. It's not the same thing. Do you eat more carbs when bulking? I don't bulk anymore. I mean, when I've been at my heaviest, I was eating a ton of, heaviest as a lifter, not as a fat guy. I was eating a ton of white rice, but my body fat was also too high. I'm stuck at 145 pounds, overhead press at 215 body weight after 4 months of training. Any advice? Be patient. Hibachi. Keep working. Take your time. Understand that a 145 overhead press is pretty dang good for a noob. You own mushrooms and onions. I eat a lot of. I think they're good. I don't eat a lot of onions because they give me really bad gas. Are you brutally strong or strongly brutal? I'm brutally strong. I'm not a brutal person, to be honest. I mean, believe it or not, I'm actually a pretty nice person in person. Sorry, Matt says, sorry, diet high in protein without carbs can gain the same amount of muscle as one. I mean, a trace amount of carbs. You're going to need a little carbohydrate, but aren't we going to get that anyways? Right? I mean, even my Mootopia protein shake still ends up having 5 or 6 grams of carbs in it by the time it's all done. You're going to need some trace carbs. I mean, I would say probably still 40 or 50 grams of carbs a day. What's your take on white rice? Nuanced question. For someone who needs the carbohydrate, calories are running a higher carb diet and they have micronutrient sufficiency everywhere, I think white rice can have a role. All right. All right, let's get rid of this. I'm not just, Omar says, I'm not justifying corporations' use of excess added preservatives and sugar, But at the end of the day, you have a choice to just not eat those foods. This may sound, Omar, do we have a choice, or have people been culturally conditioned to see things as food that are not food? If people have been culturally conditioned from childhood to see garbage as food, is it free choice, or have they been trained to do so against their will? How's that for a response? What advice would you give someone who is tall and lanky with a good squat and deadlift but poverty bench? Slowly lean, bulk up, and gain muscle. Because if you're tall and lanky, you're lightweight and don't have any muscle. You're the person who I would recommend a lean bulk to. Take your time with it. You don't need to bulk fast and gain fat, but you definitely need to gain weight. You just gain muscle. Lean bulk all the way up till you're not lanky. It might take a couple of years, right? Example, orange juice is almost all sugar. Yeah, I don't recommend people drink refined juices. Refined. I don't recommend, gosh, I can't talk today, guys. There are days when I simply sound like a blithering idiot personally, and that's okay. Liberty, keep in mind, I don't ever use the word sugar. I want you to make a note. I only mention refined sugar. But, the trick we come to with it is how much of it is added sugar. But by that same token, have they filtered the fiber out? In which case it's getting into the category of being a refined sugar, doesn't it? Okay. Cameron, I get so irritated with people who say you only live once as an excuse to drink alcohol and not care about their diet. That's horrible, right? When in reality, you only live once could be an excuse to live a healthy life so that you feel better. Right? Cujo says, yeah, I'm doing a series. Of course, I'm still kicking her. Cujo, I've been making videos every day for 12 years straight. I didn't go anywhere. I've continued to coach, continue to lift, continue to get strong, continue to get jacked, right? Doing like this, deadlifting 600 pounds, at almost 50, repping 315 on the bench with abs. There's who I am, dude. That's me. All right. But the point we could make with that, Cameron, that's an excuse to live good, right? I only live once, therefore live a healthy, fulfilling life where you are fit, have longevity, you're strong, you're jacked, you're happy, right? Instead of, am I going to put a depressant poison into my body? I think that you only live once would be an excuse to do the opposite. Ben, have you ever experimented with max grip on bench, or have you always been a close gripper? Ben, you haven't seen me do 315 for reps of all the way out like this on camera? In the last year, you haven't seen that? You haven't been watching. Man, I've done work sets with my index finger all the way on the rings out here like this, 315 on camera. So at the moment, I'm doing pinkies on the rings or ring finger on the rings, which is about medium. The close grip is in here. I've hit 365 on a close grip before though on camera. I haven't been close gripping really lately. Okay. What advice would you have on finding a quality trainer at a gym? They're hard to find out what they know, to talk to them, see what knowledge they actually have, what results they have, what results their clients have. Liberty says, I stopped drinking pops. Man, no one uses that word where I live. 10 years ago, I only drink black tea, black coffee, or water, no sugar. That's what I drink, or protein shakes, right? It's a protein shake. This is optimal nutrition way. Cujo says, that's cool. Hey, man, all good. Hey, Cujo, you should stick around, dude. See what I'm up to and what I'm doing, right? See what's shaking around here. Fiber. Yes, fiber is good. Do you still think that fat-free mass index of 25 when you're lean is the limit of a natty person? No, I think 25 is the limit for a genetically gifted natty person. The average guy will never reach that. I mean, let me be clear on that. When we have that discussion, we're not saying you can reach 25. We're saying a genetically gifted top 1 to 5% can do that in 10 to 15 years. That's what we're saying. The average steroid user in a study is 24 and a half when they studied it. The average natural pro bodybuilder is a 23. Ben, what group do you find strong? It varies. I've gotten strong at all of them. I've reached equal strength on all the different groups. I think wider has the most potential. Do I ever get shoulder pain? No, I never got shoulder pain from that. Chris says, yes, Jason's brought up fiber a lot. Fiber is one of the most essential things in a diet. I agree. My Achilles tendon is eating too much rice and tortillas on my food. Yeah, for some people. What's the most weight you've ever lost? Ballpark, because I didn't weigh myself when I first started my original fat loss journey. I was scared to, but I got down to 170 at one point there. So I could have been as high as 320. So up to 150. All right. Coach, what did Frank Zane base saying test feeds cancer on? No idea. I've never heard that. I've never seen any evidence or reason to think that at all. Thanks, Jason. I'm currently about to hire a personal trainer. Yeah, I mean, do what you got to do. All good, man. I'm lucky with the squat today. Yeah, Dean, no, I went too heavy to do beltless when I haven't been doing beltless on a high bar in a long time. It's fine. Because last week with the belt on, I did 405 for 6, and it wasn't failure. So I think I'll mess around with something different with the squat next week. Honestly, I'm just trying to keep those heavy lifts in for the power building once a week, and then everything else is bodybuilding work. But I mean, I'm happy because I had a good deadlift this week. So the squat didn't go great, but I pulled 550 without straps for a triple and then failed the 4th rep. I'll take it. I'll take it. Coach, on the incline bench, was the best angle to target the upper chest. I personally like 45 degrees for that. That's what I do for my incline. I've done 30, and yeah, I'm stronger 30, but I feel like I feel more of the upper chest at 45. All right. Oh, did it reconnect my stream? What happened? There we go. It reconnected. I got an error message. Got it. Very interesting topic. I feel like not many people talk about fat-free mass index. They don't anymore because they're all fake natties. Omar, why would people want to risk outing themselves if they're marketing the fake natty thing and being one? And then when you look up the data on it, and even Menno Hanselman did a whole calculator, like plug my numbers into it and then see what it says. The probability of what's the statistical chance a person could achieve my numbers natural. I threw him in there one day to see what his evidence-based calculator said. But that assumes I'm younger. I'm older. It said that 1.5% of people have the genetics to achieve my fat-free mass index, drug-free. Didn't account for the fact that I'm old. But we know that I'm not drug-free. All right. Do you think refined sugar and starches in the context of a cheat day once a week is a good way to minimize cheat meals? I don't like cheat days, Dean. I like cheat meals. I think a whole day is excessive. Okay. Who's Donnie? Chris, you said Donnie. Who's Donnie? We need Donnie to get down to single. Oh, you're talking about the Trumpster. Yeah, we need to get him try to get him. Let's get Trump down to having a 6-pack. We ever go back to conjugate style lifting then back off work? Probably not. Johnny, are you still anti-keto? I'm not anti-low carb in the right context. I do lower carb these days. I'm anti-keto because you shouldn't be living on bacon and butter. If you're eating 300 grams of protein a day, you're not on a keto diet, by the way. Ketogenic diet is primarily fat. Like your protein doesn't actually have to even be higher than your carbs to be a keto diet. You can actually equal protein and carbs, and it's considered medically ketogenic. So again, I promote a number of different dietary approaches depending upon what people are doing in terms of carbs versus fat, and I've run the full gambit. Hey, Form 2, do you remember the context that it was very obviously a misstatement? And I addressed it shortly thereafter that I was doing a video off the cuff and it was very obvious that I meant wide. Do you remember that? In the context of the video of the actual paragraph that was uttered, it was very, very obvious. It was very obvious that I meant to say wide. Common sense. Because I said that it caused me problems with my aesthetics. You remember that? Or did you forget that part when you took the sound bite out of context? Yeah, I do videos off the cuff, man. I'm going to get original. I'm going to mix things up over the decades. I've done 12,000 videos. So, but again, I know exactly which one you're talking about, and only someone with really a very low intellectual ability would think I actually meant narrow. When I specifically said it was a problem for me aesthetically, and it would make it hard for me to ever be a successful bodybuilder, right? So. But it's just good. I shouldn't have even answered. I apologize, guys. I should have just banned that guy and pretended I didn't see that. Okay, when you prescribe cheat meals for clients, do you recommend they stay within the same daily? That's not a cheat meal. No, if you're going to cheat, if you're going to do a cheat meal, and I don't really prescribe cheat meals, I let them kind of figure some of that out. No, dude, if you're going to do a cheat meal, then do a cheat meal. You tell people walk into it fasted, plan for it. Okay. So I have clients who they go out and eat. They have a date night, say with their girl or their wife every Friday night. We just account for that earlier on. Okay. You simply account for it earlier in the day so you minimize any fat gain. Thoughts on having a 3 upper and 1 lower split conjugate alkane more? I don't know about that, Nico. Maybe, but that's not conjugate. Nico, don't call it conjugate. Look it up about Zane. All right, Michael, but why does that matter? Just because Frank Zane said that doesn't make it true. You have to understand that. Do you think Louis Simmons would have still had new projects, programs, ideas, machines if he were still around and cognitively well? You could tell that he was losing a lot of that as he got older, which makes sense. That's not a knock at the man. Okay. He was in his 70s. You could tell his brain was slowing down in those final years with the creativity and other stuff. Right. So you're asking me, had he kept his full cognitive abilities that he had, say, up through his 40s and 50s, where he's still around today? The answer is 100% yes to that question. Do you do nutrition? I do nutrition advisement, yes. The programming is always going to be primary. Clients who need it for their specific goals, we do nutrition advisement. Right? And what that entails is literally a case-by-case based on the client. So I don't actually have a set thing in place for that. That is completely dependent upon the client's needs in terms of what we handle on the nutrition side, whether it's direct food advice, psychological advice, literally telling them how many calories to eat, strategies for doing that. It's all independent. Some of my clients don't get any nutrition because they don't need it. They don't ask for it, right? So how detailed that gets just depends upon what the client wants and needs. Hey, Nico, then you're writing your own program, but don't call it conjugate. Like, dude, Louis Simmons would be rolling over in his grave if you did that. The family had a huge argument. Hey, Michael, you're committing what's called the appeal to nature. It's a logical fallacy. Taking antibiotics is unnatural for humans. Living in an air-conditioned house is unnatural for humans. Drinking sanitized, clean drinking water is unnatural for humans. Where are we going with this? How many sets do you use for rear delts? As of currently, I usually do 6 sets of isolation roughly per week for my rear delts at the moment. Dean, last year my family had a huge argument because one of my cousins bought his healthy kit, and that's his right. I mean, that's his purview. Do you like 20 minutes or so cardio after a bigger meal along with the fasted cardio in the morning? Nope, I don't do any structured cardio after I eat at all. I mean, obviously I will partake in activities that I need to partake in. But are you talking about an actual cardio session to where I specifically plan cardio, like ride a bike or put my weight vest on and walk? I never ever do cardio after I eat. Just me. I do 100% of it fasted. Yeah. Okay, I guess you're right. I was just wondering. Well, what are your thoughts on people saying high frequency benching is the best for increasing bench strength or 2 times a week? Okay, Nico, how many of those guys who promote that can still lift heavy at my age? I'm not saying there isn't a neural drive benefit to it, but I'm going to ask you the question, and this is what many a strength coach has noted. High frequency benchers. Okay, keep in mind I'm 47. High frequency benchers, how many of them can bench 315 when they're 40? I'm talking guys who benched 400, 500 when they were 25. Okay, and they bench 4 days a week, right? How many of them can still bench 315 pain-free in their 40s? Not many. They're the outlier. How many of the benchers do you see who still bench over 400 in their 40s who only bench once a week? I'm going to say that's a larger percentage. Coach, will deadlift suffer after one heavy set of standing shoulder press? Maybe. Yeah, I bench once a week, dude. I bench once a week. And I can do rep work with 315 just fine with no pain. My shoulders don't hurt at all afterwards. So if I do 3 or 4 reps, pause with 315, my shoulders don't feel any problem. Nothing at all. Jamie, how are we defining optimal? Could the high frequency squeeze a small amount more of neural drive out? Like, could it be the difference between, say, a 350 and a 360 bench? Possibly. Could it be difference between a 350 and a 375? Yeah, absolutely. what will it do over the course of the years to your overuse in your shoulders and things? So how are you defining optimal? So in other words, it's like the Olympic athletes who many of them were asked in surveys. The majority of Olympic athletes said that if there's something they could do that would win them the gold medal in their sport, but they died exactly 2 years later, would they do it? The overwhelming majority of them said yes in those surveys. So right. Oh, optimal for recovery and muscle. Yeah, once a week is fine, dude. No, I thought you were talking powerlifting. No, dude, once a week would be fine. You just want big chest. You want big chesticles, right? You want them teddies and that separation you see me having these days on camera. Once a week, dude, you're good. Do some flat bench, do some incline, get a little heavier work, get some good pump work in. Quality range of motion work. Yep, once a week you're good. And then you'll get some overlap from your other stuff, your shoulder day, your back day. I'll put some secondary stress to be good. Yep. Did you get shoulder pain in your benching? Yes, I did, Matt. Sometimes, yeah. And I had recovery issues session to session, but I was also trying to do that in my 40s and hitting those sets with 315. And once I quit doing that, hey, Tom, we don't answer those questions. We don't answer non-fitness questions. And he just made a new account today. So, all right. Jamie says, I do dips or closed grip incline after heavy standard bench or standing shoulder press, and my recovery is optimal. Yeah, I think that could be pretty decent. Dips or closed grip. Yeah, I think that's fine, dude. That sounds good to me. Most jack guy at my gym does 315 plus on the bench for sets and incline bench and cable crossovers finish once a week, use chest. So he's been doing the same routine for years. Why wouldn't that work? Why wouldn't it work? I think that sounds pretty good to me. Coach, your favorite post-workout vitamins or supplements? I don't. I do cardio after I lift. Like I don't usually eat sometimes for 2 hours after I finish working out. Usually though, once I break my fast, I usually take some extra strength fish oil and a protein shake with my first meal. And that's my supplements for the day. For those curious, that's my supplement stack. I take 3 extra strength fish oils. And these days, I usually try to get 50 grams of whey protein with my first meal with whatever complete foods I eat. And then I take 3 milligrams of melatonin before bed. That's my whole supplement stack. The whole thing right there, baby. Fish oil, protein, and melatonin. Melatonin is probably the most anabolic thing you can get over the counter. You need more. Why? I get plenty of magnesium in my diet. No, I don't need mag citrate. I sometimes add a little potassium salts to my water, but I also cook with it. I add potassium salts to my food too. Is that really a supplement though, or is it a season? I get the no salt. All right. Now here's where people are about to go. Oh, you take all that stuff. Oh, well, Chris, no one asked about drugs. They asked about supplements. Are we talking about supplements, or are we talking supplements? them all natural veins. All right. I mean, Chris asked me. Tell you what, you guys throw me a super chat, and I'll tell you literally my actual special supplement stat to the milligram. Jason, if I had 1 year to build your back from scratch, what exercises would you choose? To build my back like mine? You're not going to do that in a year. But on Team Blaha, we build backs better. I was telling one of my people that the other day. She was showing her back, and it's like, I'm getting a serious, ridiculous V taper. Like, that's right, on Team Blaha, we build backs better. All right. So, deadlifts, weighted pull-ups, rows. But I'm gonna wait on those super chats. If I get a super chat asking, I will give literally, I'll tell you what my special supplement stack is. It doesn't matter how much, $2, I don't care. I'm not gonna give it for free. Build back better. Yeah, but it failed. Jamie, that didn't work. People have already super chatted, Michael. Do you think women actually get disgruntled? No, I don't think they do. When my transformation is done, Team Blaha is going to take me from skinny to stacked. So there you go, dude. That's it, man. All right, I won't give the milligrams for free, but testing primo. That's my entire special supplement stack. The whole thing, all of it. All right, guys, we're about 47 minutes in. Obviously, arms. Michael, obviously my arms need to come up the most, and we all know that. That's been understood. It's all those years of powerlifting. But I mean, look at my current training. I mean, look at the amount of curls I'm doing to failure. The last, as I've built up. So, I mean, I'm obviously taking that seriously. Hey, Michael, what movements did I do this week? I mean, so here's my thing. If you're going to ask me about doing something different with my training, my question, because I get people who give training critiques to me all the time who don't have no idea what I actually do, right? So they have no idea what I actually do. So what current chest exercises do I do? I'll give you a moment to type them out. So in my current routine, what chest exercises do I do right now? Since you think I need to mix it up and change it up, I want you to tell me which ones I'm doing wrong. Okay. So you don't actually know what I do. You have no clue. Do you even know what my chest looks like this week? So, hold on. All right. So just for the unaware. So there's what my chest looks like with a chest pump on a chest day. Okay. All right. Also, you've admitted I've banged you before, and then you're going to come in here. All right. So for those curious who don't know, what are my current 5 chest exercises? Barbell flat bench, dumbbell flat bench, barbell incline bench, dumbbell incline bench, pullovers. Those are what I do right now. So those are my 5 chest exercises. Jason, if you consider an 8-hour bicep, simple. Actually, he used PMMA, so that was collagen in his arms. Unless his first wife was lying. She said she used to drive him to Mexico for the collagen treatments for those. I don't have a proper setup to do decline. I've done it. I don't feel that I need to bring it. I feel like the flat dumbbells will give me what I need there. I don't have a good setup. I've done some decline. The problem is the decline bench I have doesn't hook in well. It ends up being really awkward. It ends up being weak when I do decline. I actually, if I was at a commercial gym, I would consider throwing decline bench in place to say the dumbbell, some of the dumbbell flat work. But I don't have a proper setup for it. Yep. Yeah, Jamie said it's also risky. Yeah, and there's that degree of truth. It's problematic with my setup. Again, if I was at a commercial gym with spotters, I would legitimately consider it. I program it for some of my clients. Like I like the decline barbell. I think it's a good exercise. Right. All right, we're at 52 minutes, so guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wind this down. I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals. I'll talk to you next time.